They want Mubarak out now.
He should hear the clear voice coming from the people and live in dignity.
America seems to agree.
In order for Egypt to have a bright future, which I believe it can have, the only thing that will work is moving an orderly transition process that begins right now.
Minutes away from the military lockdown near Liberation Square, downtown Cairo is bustling. Banks open for the first time in a week, petrol stations stocked. But everyone here knows it's still not business as usual.
It's not easy to keep a mass protest going for 12 days.
People want to feel that normality is back, that it's safe to go about their business, that people can open their shops, people can go to school or whatever. So there is that thirst for normality. And yet there remains this focal point, Tahrir Square, which is completely closed to traffic and is still the epicenter of this protest. It seems that people will go about their normal business during the day, but when it's a day of demonstration, they will go to the square. They may only go for an hour or two, they may go early in the morning, they may go late at night, but the demonstration lives on, but life is going on as well.
There is yet another plea to the occupants of Liberation Square.
The head of the Army's Central Command came to ask them to go home so the country could go back to normal. They chanted back, "We're not leaving, he is."
And another attempt to appease the protesters.
Egyptian TV announces big changes in the ruling party. Gone are the executive committee and the president's son, Gamal Mubarak. But it's the father who's got to go for the demonstrators.
The presidency, though, is still a non-negotiable.
You don't run a country as an autocratic leader for 29 years without being extremely tough, extremely stubborn and a real survivor. You know, he's not going to leave unless he's literally shoved out of the door by those closest to him, like his vice president, Omar Suleiman. This man is a survivor, this man is a fighter, this man wants to secure his place in history. He doesn't want to go down in the history books as a man who ran away or who was chased out by a baying mob. He's going to hang in there really for as long as he can.
It's clear that Egypt will never be the same again.
An uprising on the streets, showing no sign of relenting. Protesters united in their defiance of the regime. As demonstrations continued for a third week, President Mubarak remained unmoved. But how much longer could he ignore the demands of his people and hold on to power? In a day-by-day account, we look at the events that changed Egypt, from those that witnessed them firsthand. Fall of Mubarak, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Business Latest is brought to you by Capco in just about everything. Business Latest is brought to you by Capco in just about everything.
On the next Rizkan show, world-renowned feminist Eve Ensler explains her latest project to empower the numerous victims of sexual violence in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Rizkan, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Homes have crumbled and many buildings have been left just empty shells.
Tensions are high. Riot police trying to control thousands of Greek protesters on the streets of Athens.
A British court has approved the go-ahead for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to be extradited.
The Gaddafi is waging a war against the Libyan people. They are killing civilians mercilessly. They're using ammunition, live ammunition.
This is Al Jazeera.
Welcome to the News Hour, live from Doha. I'm Lauren Taylor. These are our main stories. Muammar Gaddafi and his supporters in Libya are warned they're now war crimes suspects. Gaddafi's air force targets rebels fighting to drive him from power. There have been more airstrikes. More upheaval in Egypt. The Prime Minister resigns. His replacement has already been appointed. And in other news, security forces in Côte d'Ivoire have shot dead at least 5 women marching in support of the president's rival. Hello, Muammar Gaddafi and his supporters in Libya are now war crimes suspects. Within the past hour, the International Criminal Court has announced a full investigation into alleged human rights violations. Speaking at The Hague in the Netherlands, prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo says Gaddafi's supporters have already been identified.
We identify some individuals with de facto or formal authority who have authority on the security forces who allegedly committed the crimes. They are Muammar al-Gaddafi, his inner circle, including some of his sons, who had de facto authority. But also, there are people with some formal authority that should pay attention to the crimes committed by their people, because if they are not preventing, stopping, and punishing these crimes, they could be responsible in accordance with the law. They are the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the head of the regime security and military intelligence, the head of Gaddafi personal security, and the head of the Libyan External Security Organization. So we'd like to use this opportunity to put them on notice. If forces under their command and control commit crimes, they could be criminally responsible.
Well, in a few moments will we go live to Libya for reaction to that statement. First, though, an update on the main developments. There's been another air attack on the oil town of Brega, but rebels said they're pushing Gaddafi forces back. Libyan rebels armed with rocket launchers, anti-tank aircraft guns and tanks have shored up defences to fight off Gaddafi's forces. The United Nations says refugee camps on Libya's border crossings are at what they call a crisis point. Tens of thousands of foreign nationals are still trying to flee the country. And government officials from the Netherlands are trying to win the release of 3 Dutch Marines in Libya. They were captured on Sunday by forces loyal to Muammar Gaddafi after they landed in the coastal city of Sirte. They were trying to rescue 2 Europeans who've since been handed over to the Dutch embassy in Tripoli.